President Biden's political future facing a pivotal week. Congress returning today to the Hill amid a growing push for Joe to go, with members of his own party calling for Vice President Harris to take over. But a defiant Joe Biden insists he's not going anywhere. Folks, Democratic strategist and former New York State Senator David Carlucci joins us right now. David, good morning to you.
Good morning. Great to be with you.
Well, you know, here's the thing. There are a number of people in your party who are lawmakers. They have not yet come out to say, Joe, go, or Joe, stay, because they're taking the temperature. Typical politicians, they want to see what the people say.
Well, that's right. I mean, the media is saying it's an avalanche if you read the editorials, but it's really a little trickle. You've got a few politicians that have actually come forth and said Joe Biden should step aside. But meanwhile, you have a majority, overwhelming majority of elected Democratic leaders that are sticking with Joe Biden. And when you look at these polling numbers, you would think that it would be an avalanche, but it's not. You see an average of only 3 points separating Donald Trump and Joe Biden. And when you look at the swing states, you look at Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and in all of those states, the polling averages have these two gentlemen less than 3 points apart. So it would be a major investment, a major risk for the Democratic Party with a little reward, little chance of reward. You don't see many other people polling better than Joe Biden against Donald Trump. So it's kind of putting the cart before the horse. Joe Biden is still in it. And this is the Joe Biden we need to see, reinvigorated, out there, and running like he is behind.
Well, David, we've got eyes. We saw how bad he did. We saw the George Stephanopoulos interview on Friday. That was terrible, too. And he, rather than going for an hour, he only went for 22 minutes. And then it's like, OK, turn off the camera, that kind of thing. If Joe Biden is the leading Democrat, it's because right now, at this point, you know, his vice president historically has had worse polls than he has.
Well, it's about beating Donald Trump, and that's what Democrats care about. And we know, as much as we don't like it, more people are voting against someone than they are voting for them. That's why we see an onslaught of negative campaigning. And many people are more concerned about what Donald Trump actually said in those debates, as opposed to what Biden struggled to say. And things like refusing to accept the results of the election is something that you might say disqualified Joe Biden for his mumbling. But at the same time, you got to disqualify Donald Trump for what he actually said. David. And was asked 3 times during the debate. That's a disqualifier for many people in the United States. And as they start to look closely at this election, it's more about what Donald Trump said, and as opposed to what Joe Biden mumbled.
Mm-hmm. But, David, you know that you watched the debate. I'm sure after the debate you said to yourself, Donald Trump won that debate. I mean, didn't you say Donald Trump won the debate because Joe was terrible? Joe said he was terrible. But then again, he said, I just had one bad debate.
Well, you're right. Joe Biden didn't win, but I can't say that Donald Trump won either. Did Donald Trump have these fumbles that were obvious? No, but he had fumbles in his actual policy and his plan. And Donald Trump lacks that major policy reform. We talk about the Affordable Care Act, a major achievement that the Democrats have had, and Joe Biden has pushed. And you see Donald Trump doesn't even have a plan on health care.
Exit question. Will Joe Biden be the nominee?
I believe Joe Biden will be the nominee. I think we'll see this week people starting to come forcefully behind Joe Biden and say, stick with it.
I think there are a lot of people yelling at their TV right now saying, that guy is wrong. But you know what? You might be right. So let's just see how it all plays out. David, thank you very much for joining us live. I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.